Welcome to Meg's Motorcycle Journey, where we explore the world on two wheels. This channel will follow me on my journey to become a better rider and explore my love of all things motorcycles. I briefly hinted in the last video that I may be test riding some big bikes, so that's what we do in this video. I went to Old Glory Harley-Davidson, which is the closest Harley-Davidson to my home. I've been here in another video when I took my best friend Lauren for a ride. I'm in my work clothes because it was a beautiful day, the first beautiful day. So as soon as I got off work, we came there to test ride bikes. I had been there over the weekend for a Mardi Gras event and spoken to some folks there about doing a test ride this week. Cameraman and I started a motorcycle-related company for all of our motorcycle activities, and we're considering getting a company bike so that when we take longer rides, we have some more storage space and a little bit more comfortable ride. We don't plan to get rid of our bikes, just add on, so we will keep my Lowrider S, and Cameraman will keep his Breakout. Hey guys, we're here at Harley-Davidson Old Glory in Laurel, and we are going to test ride some touring bikes. I think I mentioned previously that I'm interested not in getting rid of my bike, but potentially adding to my collection. So Cameraman and I are gonna test ride some bikes and check them out and let you know what we think. So obviously I changed my clothes out of my work clothes into some more appropriate riding clothes and was getting ready to pick out exactly which bikes we wanted to take out on the road. I had previously discussed that I rode an Electra Glide and a Road King when I was in Florida training with Jerry Palladino, so I wanted to see if we could try some other touring bikes that I had not had an opportunity to ride yet. Cameraman and I both need to be able to ride this bike, so that makes it a little tricky because we're slightly different sizes.
We got a couple of touring bikes, touring bikes with 114.
Okay.
Or we have one 107, either way.
All right, well, we might as well go for
I'm assuming you don't want the 8-nighters.
Yeah. Might as well go for the 114 though. I mean, if we're going to go for it, might as well go.
Right. So most of these are 107, so this one's 114.
Okay.
And road fly wise, okay, got 114 right there.
Alrighty.
Alright, so copy of driver's license, we make copies.
Yep.
There's a form you gotta fill out, all good stuff.
Alright.
Alright.
Fill out the forms.
Chris kind of
Take care of us, that's fine, I get it. I know you got stuff to do. Busy guy. Thank you, appreciate it. Chloe and I became governor, she was like, okay, you're fine. Well, in Maryland it's tough, like to qualify, but since I'm...
It's ridiculous, being retired military law enforcement and military.
And they're still like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm a business owner, it wasn't as difficult as it seemed.
What bikes we ride?
Hold on, wait. Where are all my cards? There they are. A road glide, a street glide. You can take one, I'll take one. We'll switch.
All right.
It'll be fun.
All right. How are you folks?
Good. How are you?
Thank you.
You're fine.
That's all
Say
right.
hi.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Did they do a good job with your truck?
They did.
Yeah, that's what I'm here. So,
Yes. Just need the invoice so I can pay
yeah,
you.
I will. I was actually talking about how we had been fortunate enough to come to the dealer and wash some employees' cars the day before. My car wash company, our mobile detailing division, as well as discussing with Corey the regulations in Maryland in order to have a handgun license or a wear and carry permit. It's actually a pretty strict state for doing those things. So we were just talking about the requirements, and now I am filling out a liability waiver form in order to take a test ride. I didn't even cross anything out this time, but sometimes I do. Being a lawyer actually comes in pretty handy in everyday life for things like editing contracts and waivers, but I try to behave myself. Generally, my kids get embarrassed when I start marking up agreements for them to go on field trips and things like that.
It counts it by the
Weird.
number. Yeah.
Look at that.
Weird.
Learn something new every day.
When do I get a Meg's hoodie?
Yeah,
You will.
you'll get one. We just got one.
We just got shirts specifically for Daytona that say bike week.
Oh, okay.
Just so we get.
Those, I just started the Teespring account, and it let you like order like 4 samples. I got my middle boy. He's like into my bike and stuff, and he said he wanted one. Of course, my oldest was like, "Oh my gosh, if you wear Mom's merch in front of my friends, I'll be so embarrassed."
Riding.
Initially, I think we're gonna ride them, and they said we're gonna have to ride them around the parking lot anyway.
Well, hold on.
Oh, really?
My friend Will, who's a photographer, also met us here on this particular day. He had been with us over the weekend as well and took some shots for me. So he offered to take some pretty cool moving shots while I was test riding the bike, as well as some drone footage.
I'm always.
Like, this is super crazy warm.
I bought my bike.
Oh, bought your bike.
It'll
Wait.
be a year.
Your live wire or this one?
Kind of a big deal.
Oh, thank you, Will. I don't know about all that. I'm so stylish. This is
Got it.
outfits that usually have to do my videos.
For those that don't know, this is the cameraman. Singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter.
So that was my friend Will that I mentioned, that is a professional photographer. He's done a lot of the photos on my Instagram page. He's incredibly talented, so I'm going to link his page. You should go check it out because he does a really great job. So this was actually my second time on the road. We don't have footage of my first time on the road. I initially took the road glide out on the road with 2 of the Harley staff members. Then I came back and cameraman jumped on the road glide and I took the street glide. And we did one little lap around the dealership that way, and then we ended up switching. So you'll get to see footage of me on both the street glide and the road glide. So this is me on the street glide, and I thought that I would prefer the street glide mainly because I really liked the electric glide that I rode with Jerry in Florida, and I figured that they would be similar. Now, I will say that both of these bikes, I think, were a bit heavier than either bike that I rode in Florida. But once you start moving, there's really no difference. They were also a little bit more difficult for me to ride because they had forward controls. So I have to sit very far up in order to reach the controls. And lastly, they are difficult for me to maneuver from a stop because I can barely touch the ground. I'm on my tiptoes on both bikes. Obviously, if we ended up purchasing one of them, we could change that. We could try to lower it or do something else to make it a little bit more comfortable for me. But as I mentioned, it would be a company bike, so I want it to also be comfortable for cameraman because we would both be riding it. I was very shocked at how many of you suggested on my Instagram page when I mentioned that I would be test riding bikes that I get the Road Glide. I did not know that there were so many Road Glide fans. I did ask the folks at Harley what their most popular touring bikes were, and they told me that the Street Glide is their most popular touring bike, at least at this location. I've had a number of you also suggest that I check out the Heritage, that might be a little bit more comfortable of a ride for me because it's not as heavy of a bike. And some people also suggest the Limited. I haven't ruled out any of those things. This is very early on in the process of us looking at and checking out touring bikes. So we just wanted to get a feel for which bikes we like and which bikes we think might be a good fit. We were not intending to purchase anything, just to learn more about what it is that we're looking for and what features are important to us and what features we like. So I was surprised, but I actually preferred the Road Glide to the Street Glide. So all you Road Glide fans will like that. And cameraman preferred the Road Glide to the Street Glide as well. Both of us thought that we would prefer the Street Glide. Now, I don't know if it was specific to that bike or if it is the two separate models, but I did feel like the Road Glide was a much smoother ride than the Street Glide. So here I'm on the Street Glide. I still liked it. It was still a lot of fun, but I did feel like it moved around a bit more. I didn't like the brakes as much, but that was probably just this particular bike and nothing to do with the models, because I did ask, cameraman and I both were inquiring, what is the difference aside from the fixed fairing or the moving fairing? And we were told that they are basically the same bike. I was told beforehand that the Road Glide might take some getting used to during slow maneuvers, and it was a little bit different. The first time that I turned around a corner, so you might have heard them saying that we were required to ride around the parking lot several times before we took the bikes out on the road. So I did take both of them on 2 laps around the building. And the first time that I went to turn the Road Glides was a little different, and I wasn't sure if I felt, I don't want to say off balance, but it was just a little strange that I was turning the bars and it didn't seem like the bike was turning with me. So I think that threw me off. But by my second lap, it really was no issue whatsoever. And once I got the bikes out on the road and up to speed, I preferred the feel of the Road Glide. Also, the Street Glide had a really tight clutch. I think I'm learning that my bike does not have a tight clutch because a lot of these other bikes that I'm riding are much more of an effort. So, I think that that's probably something that I could adjust. So I'm certainly not making any decisions based upon that, but that's just something that I did notice. So here you'll see that we switched. I am riding the Road Glide and cameraman is riding the Street Glide. This is different perspective or view than we've ever done before. We've tried before on cameraman's handlebars, we've tried on his sissy bar, and we've tried on my bike forward facing me. This was actually on the highway bars. He mounted the camera to the highway bars. So we're both really happy with how good quality the video turned out because we didn't know what to expect, and it was a lot harder for him to move and position as we rode. But he did a tremendous job, so I think we got a lot of good footage and had a cool opportunity to take you guys along on our first test rides of some touring bikes. I was really happy that we were able to get there today. It has been almost 3 straight weeks of snow or ice like every other day in Maryland, and we got this one beautiful 60-degree day. On Monday there was like 5 inches of snow, so we were really fortunate. When I came in on the weekend and I was talking to the folks at Harley, I looked at my weather app and was like, looks like Wednesday is going to be the day. So that was fantastic. I ended up being able to go after we finished this and pick up my own bike from the shop. It had been in for 3-ish weeks, and I was really, really missing my bike, even though I couldn't really have ridden it very much because there was snow and ice on the ground for much of that time. I will say that riding these touring bikes was a ton of fun and a really cool experience, and I've really grown to enjoy trying out different bikes. But because I rode them and shortly after that rode my own bike, it reinforced how much I truly love my bike and that I really think my bike is the right bike for me. So I will not be getting rid of my Lowrider S anytime soon. I love my Lowrider S. It rides better for me, or in my opinion, than any other bike I've ever ridden. I know that a lot of you have said that I need to adjust various things for it to fit me better, and I plan to do some of that. But the difference between me riding these bikes, which was fun, and me riding my bike, which just felt like home and felt amazing, was still pretty stark. So I will be certainly keeping my Lowrider S for the long haul and maybe just adding one of these bikes. So I will be doing the installation of my Chromeworks slip-ons this week. So you guys will get an opportunity to see the video on that before I get to Daytona. I'm super excited. I had an opportunity today also to ride with my new handlebars, and I really liked them. I think the jury's still out on whether I would like them a little bit closer, but I was really happy with the way that the bike rode and the way that the bike looked after I picked it up today and had an opportunity to ride it home. So you guys will get to see that in the video where I'm going to install my slip-ons. You'll get to see me riding my new bike, well, my same bike with new bars. Alrighty, we're going back inside after we test rode a road glide and a street glide. Talk to Corey.
Trying to find Corey. He's over there. He's in the back.
Thank you much. It was fun. They did a great job.
I had them out of that.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Good. Help you narrow it down?
We both liked the road glide better.
Really?
Yeah, we both.
It shocked me too.
It took a second to get used to. Like the first time that I turned kind of sharp.
Slow speed. supposed
was
to be
a little-
because it's a visual thing, right? So
Yeah.
I've always been a battling fairy kind of guy. So I got to ride one for about a week, and I was really cautious at first. But once I get up on the highway speed, you're watching the road, you're not looking down here, so it's like no big deal. It's just not.
That very first like turn around the building, I don't think it was that I felt off balance. It was just a different, like I guess the bike didn't
it's a
turn the
visual.
way that I expected it to. But like after just one lap around, I was like, all right, I can get behind this.
Once you get on the
It
road,
just
it's
felt more stable on the highway, and I feel like even, I mean, both of them are really high for me just because they're really short legs, but
They
even,
can be lowered.
yeah, well, but
See?
he's gonna ride it too, and then he'll complain. Anyway, I can deal with that, but it just felt, I felt like, especially as soon as I took off, it was so much more stable. So, but yeah, really fun. Thank you.
we'll take 3 of them?
them.
3, 1 in red,
And
1
we'll
in
be-
white, 1 in blue.
Yeah, he said
We
we'll
could
take
Thanks,
probably
Corey.
do that.
We'll take 3. Thanks.
so
Appreciate
much.
it.
And you
Hope you guys enjoyed coming along with us on a test ride. And I will be posting a short video on Sunday, but stay tuned for the installation of the slip-ons next Thursday on my way to Daytona. Ride safe and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.